Hey everyone, back tuning into today's video. We've had an update from the Korean model today. It's taking us to the middle of June. So we'll have a look at that in a moment. Some quite interesting charts there on the latest update. Big change around from the last update for June. So we'll have a look at the charts in a moment. Before I get on with that though, just mention the advertising best video ads on my pages at GazWebBiz.com. If you hit play on the video ad, you'll be supporting GazWebBiz.com. Thanks so much for doing that. You don't necessarily have to sit through, watch the whole thing all the way through. Just hit play on video ad, see what it's about, you'll be supporting GazWebBiz. And thanks so much for doing that. Also got content ads, which are links to articles. So if there's any article that you're interested in, just click through the link off and read that article. And at the same time, GazWebBiz will get a royalty fee on what you're doing. These things help pay for websites, so it makes a big difference. Thanks for getting involved and supporting GazWebBiz.com. So we'll start off with the June update, and then we'll have a bit of a look at weather for the next few days and the weekend. This is the update from the South Korean model, though. This is for late May. This first chart that was in here is for late May. I think these monthly forecasts are broken down into 10-day periods, so late May will presumably be taking us from something like the 20th to the 30th, or the 21st to the 31st of May, something like that. This is sea level pressure anomaly, and quite interesting. What I've got is there is high pressure setting up across the central Mediterranean and central parts of Europe with those orange colours. Got a trough of low pressure out in the Atlantic, and that sort of area of high pressure, the above average heights, just extending in across to southern parts of England, although we're more or less under the trough of low pressure. The jet stream going something like this around that trough and the region, and then of course there's this next trough up over Scandinavia, western parts of Russia, so more or less bringing the jet stream through across the country. That is reasonably unsettled, to be honest, for late May. The driest weather would always be in the south and southeast, close to that ridge of high pressure. I'll just highlight it again. Close to that ridge of high pressure would be driest in the south southeast. But I think overall that's quite an unsettled sort of chart for late May. We would, however, be fairly mild, particularly in the south, because we're more or less on the warm side of the jet stream. Now, as we go through to early June, this is the sea level pressure anomaly for early June. Quite a big change around there. We get this area of red appearing across Scandinavia and northeastern parts of Europe. We've got a trough of low pressure still, quite a deep trough of low pressure out in the Atlantic. Jet stream is going something like that. So we are on the warm side of the jet stream now, with this area of high pressure building in from the east. We'll also be bringing up southerly to southeasterly flows with this, with a trough of low pressure down to the southwest. That could be generating some thundery showers, thunderstorms down to the southwest. That's quite a hot, or certainly very warm, type scenario for early June, because with those southerly to southeasterly winds, the trough of low pressure down to the southwest, with between the trough and the ridge, bringing up southerly to southeasterly flows. If you want sort of a thundery type scenario for summer, that's a pretty good one, with low pressure to the southwest, high pressure to the east and the northeast, winds generally in from the south or southwest. Temperatures would be well above average with that. And then going through to the middle of June, I assume this is something like the 10th to the 20th, well, look at this. We build the ridge of high pressure right in across the country, and got those red colours there sitting over the British Isles, so that's high pressure dominating through the middle of June. Would be mainly dry. We'd lose the risk of thunderstorms, but it would be mainly dry. It would be very warm, if not hot actually, and that area of high pressure. So this is going for the latest update of the Korean model is going for a really good sort of June. If you want it warm, temperatures above average, if you want have some thunderstorms and then dry conditions, the Korean model is very, very good for those type of scenarios. A really sort of warm June on the way, if that's right, a proper sort of flaming June. Now, the Korean model has changed around quite a lot from the last update, because the last update actually had a trough of low pressure dominating. It was quite a cool wet scenario for June, so it's a big flip around. So that has to obviously bring question marks about how reliable this model is. It can flip so much from one update to another. Nevertheless, we can only take at face value what we're seeing when we do these charts on these updates. That is the latest update, and it would be a proper sort of June heatwave type scenario. If that came off. Let's have a look at the CFS model. This is from the website weatherweb.net. This is the city forecast for the next month. So it's taking us from where we are now, early May, into say the middle to latter stages of June. I think it's about 6 weeks worth of temperatures here. This is in a graph format. The 1st of June is just here. So we start off quite cool, really. It is very cool at the moment. It's going to stay that way for a few days. Then around middle of the month, we're seeing temperatures lifting up. It's going to turn quite warm, perhaps for a time. Then temperatures dip back a bit, then they warm up again as we go through towards the end of May. So much warmer second half to May compared to the first half, if that's right. Now, we get towards the start of June, and temperatures do slip back quite a lot again. Big drop there taking place as we go through to around the very end of May and the start of June. And many seeing sort of modest temperatures, to be honest, going through the first half of June. Nothing really particularly warm or hot there from the CFS model. A little bit of a warm up there sometime around the middle of June, 15th, 16th. But overall, those temperatures are pretty modest, as I say, for June. So looks like the CFS model probably not particularly in agreement with the Korean model, to be honest there. Nothing particularly out of the ordinary in terms of temperature. The warmest spell actually occurs in the second half of May, and then the first half of June at least doesn't see anything as warm. As I say, that's the temperature forecast for Birmingham based on the CFS. Well, this is a 500 millibar height anomaly, but that temperature forecast is based upon, this is for May. It's showing an area of below average height sitting just to the southwest of the country, trough of low pressure. There's that high pressure that the Korean model's picking up on for central parts of Europe, but really it's this trough that's in control. Jet stream again going something like that. So it's very similar, really, that to what we've seen for the height anomaly chart for May from the Korean model. Not totally the same, but very similar, really. And that low pressure is more or less in control, so a fairly unsettled May coming up, or what's left of it. As we go through to June, we get this area of above average height setting up to the northeast of the country, so got the high pressure up over Scandinavia, the trough of low pressure is further to the southwest. Jet stream is going something like that. So again, it's not that far away. The Korean model and CFS model, in terms of the height anomaly, is not that far away from one another, but I think the CFS is perhaps a little bit more unsettled, really, than the Korean model. The Korean model is bringing up more of a southerly influence for June. That's why it's warmer. Whereas the CFS one is bringing up more of an Atlantic flow, to be honest. So that, I assume, is why temperatures are a little bit more modest for June. And then as we go through to July, well, then it does get there. It gets this area of high pressure building in across the country in July, so a nice area of above average heights extending in. That's similar to what we just saw from the Korean model for the middle stages of June. It takes us until July to get there, but there we go. We do eventually arrive at that pattern with that area of high pressure building in. So lots to sort of chew on and digest for the coming month or two, but let's just have a quick look at the situation today, because we've got an area of heavy rain coming in across the country today. This is the radar picture from the UK Met Office. Really wet conditions pushing eastwards across England and Wales, some very vibrant colours mixed in there. It's going to stay unsettled for today and for the coming few days. To be honest, this is the high resolution NAE model from the website Weather Online. You can find a link to Weather Online on my links page. There's the rain coming across the country, England and Wales, at least through the course of today. Going to be a proper wet day. The rain hangs on across northern England, parts of East Anglia through the course of this afternoon, but elsewhere it should clear, although there could be some heavy showers being set off, and quite a lot of showers across Scotland as well. As we go through to tonight, that Thursday of rain will clear away, but we've got more showery rain coming into Ireland. That pushes eastwards overnight, so many parts of the country have some heavy showers tonight. Probably not too bad for Friday. I think you may start off with some heavy showers around, but they'll generally start to ease down through the course of the day. But eventually, by the end of Friday afternoon, Friday evening, we'll start being some rain towards Ireland, and that'll begin to push northwards and eastwards overnight. Friday, that's head of this next area of low pressure that we see here on this GFS chart at midnight on Saturday. Low pressure is racing in off the Atlantic, and it's going to be very unsettled on Saturday with that low pressure sweeping sweeping across the country. Proper wet and windy sort of day for Saturday. Very tight packed ice baths as well. It's going to be windy. Here's the precipitation forecast. 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. Most of the country will be wet and windy. That rain could linger on across much of England and Wales, particularly in the south and the southeast through the course of Saturday morning. Could be very wet down there. Showers following. Eventually that rain will push away into the continent later on Saturday, but lots of heavy showers sweeping behind. And for Sunday, looks particularly showery, particularly up in the north and the northwest. Perhaps not too many down in the southeast, but all areas really will be at risk of showers on Sunday. Look at these temperatures for Sunday afternoon as well. Very, very poor, barely getting into double figures across many parts of the country. There'll be a cold northwesterly wind blowing with them. So we're in a very unsettled phase at the moment, and it is going to be turning cooler with this unsettled phase as well over the weekend. I'll probably go on into the start of next week at least. Going back to those longer range charts, so we've got the Korean models sort of indicating that we could get some very warm weather as we go through into June. High pressure really builds in on that Korean chart. It's a big flip around from the last monthly update, as I say, so there is question marks about how reliable the Korean model is, but if it's correct, we're really in for a fabulous June. The CFS doesn't really agree with that, though. It's more unsettled for June. Temperatures are more modest as well, although we don't have a temperature forecast actually from the Korean model, so we can't really say how warm those temperatures get through June on that Korean update. Sort of interpreting it that they do, or they would get very warm, but certainly the CFS model anyway this morning doesn't see anything particularly hot coming up through the first half of June. Nevertheless, it's all very interesting, and if the Korean is right, well, flaming June conditions could be on the way. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.